you have tied in the Gene Simmons name recently with a kick-ass song that is now one of my favorite Helix songs. My favorite was House on Fire. Always loved it.
We just played that song the other night for the first time in about 30 years.
I was going to ask you, when are you going to play it live? No
first
kidding.
Time for 38 since
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think we're going to open the show this year with House on Fire.
Are you kidding? I got to see that live,
okay.
Brian. I got to see that live.
We're coming.
Yeah. You and Paul knocked one out of the park on that one, my friend. Awesome song. So back to Gene Simmons. So Gene Simmons says rock is dead. I love that song. That is a power rock chorus that I haven't heard in a long time. And you brought it back. You and Sean.
Thank you. Well, I do a lot of writing with Sean Kelly, and Sean's very chorus orientated, just as I am. When we write songs, we usually try to get the chorus and work our way backwards. We write the chorus first and the verses, and, it goes from there. It's a process. But we get our ideas out of magazines or out of, something we catch on TV. And it caught my ear and eye that when that interview came out with Gene Simmons, because even though I love Gene and we toured with Kiss, I disagree fundamentally about musicians, their reasoning for getting into a band in the first place. And into music, I know I didn't get into it for the money. If I would have quit 45 years ago? Because there's no money in it. People get into music because they love music.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's the point of the song, right? We just disagree. We agree to disagree, me and Gene.
Yeah.
We toured all Europe with Kiss in 1983 in the Lick It Up tour. We played Joe Louis Arena, I believe, with Kiss in North America. And I went to visit Gene one time when he was producing Black and Blue down in, I forget where the hell it was, but I remember driving down the Sacramento freeway there with the guy from Night Court, Martin, the big bald guy. Yeah. He was in a Cadillac beside us, and Fritz was hanging out the window. taking pictures with his camera, and this guy. Anyway, he's driving like 50 miles an hour in a Cadillac with the top down, and he's yelling at Fritz. He's going, "Don't do that! You're not supposed to take pictures of me. Don't do that!" And Fritz, of course, is totally ignoring him. But I went down and I shot a game of pool. I remember with Gene Simmons at the studio when he was there with Tommy Thayer and the guys from Black and Blue.
Wow. So,
well, when you've been in the band as long as Helix, 45 years, there's a lot of stories. And even I am amazed at the amount of people we've met. People like Robin Williams. I remember one lonely, rainy November night I spent in a dressing room with the original Mick Ronson and Ian Hunter. And that was a memorable moment in my life. So.
Fantastic. Yeah. I know you got a lot of stories, Brian.
Yeah.
So when you were writing with Sean for Rock is Dead, are you guys in the studio, or are you swapping files back and forth? I know you're a big computer tech guy, so what's the process?
Actually, no, it's much more what's the word? Earthy. We get in the living room. We play it on acoustic guitar. We don't even use an electric guitar. We write most of the stuff on acoustic, and we write in the living room, and we record on a little tape deck as we go along, and or our phone. And that's about it. And once we get something solid, as in a chorus and maybe a verse loose, a melody for the verse, then we'll send it back and forth over the internet, and I'll send some lyric ideas. But it's kind of different for each song. Some songs Sean really writes the lyrics, and other songs I write the lyrics, or sometimes it's 50-50. But it's there's never any argument with Sean and I. When we feel something's right, we both feel the same thing. Cool. So there's never really a disagreement when we write it, and everything's very quick. I don't know if that's because of necessity being the mother of invention or what. But Sean and I really don't get a lot of time to write together. So when we do, we make the most of the time. We'll write 3 songs in 2 hours, or get the basis for 3 songs in 2 hours. And then we'll develop those songs over a matter of months over the internet. Other songs, like when we wrote the Leaf song, which I think is one of the best songs I think we ever wrote together. that Christmas song. We wrote that essentially in the while I was getting ready to leave and go downtown to a restaurant. And I was standing in his front doorway, and we come up with the idea for the song and wrote it right there as I was standing with my suitcase.
Wow. Unbelievable. Ho, 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 go Leafs go, right?
Yeah, and, I still love writing nowadays. That's why we do it. A lot of bands that are in our genre of music quit for a long time putting out music, and now they're scrambling to put out new stuff now that music's come around. But Helix never stopped putting out albums all through the 90s, and people told us to pack it in, and that, why are we doing this and wasting all that money? And it was a lost cause, and nobody wanted to know about us. And I'll tell you something, I did a lot of those albums for a little over $5,000, and I kept going. And you're trying to keep up quality with something. When we were with Capitol Records, we spent $500,000, right? Versus $5,000. So, of course, heavily criticized for that. But, I didn't give up. I kept going. And when we finally got signed to Sanctuary Records in, I think it was 1996 with The Power of Rock and Roll, they bought all that back catalog, Sanctuary Records, and it gave me enough to buy a rental property, which is basically going to be my retirement, because as a musician, we don't get too much from the government. So, you're out there and you're fending for yourself. So that money that I got from those albums that everybody told me I shouldn't be recording is going to be my retirement.
Is that right?
Wow.
I guess the lesson here is to, follow your own star and your own gut feel, and never give up, and keep trying to put out quality product.
Absolutely.